This week on the 77% Street Debate.
And
I kept telling my mom that it's something I never want to go through. And I found a group of women and they just locked me in and forced me into it.
Female genital mutilation causes severe bleeding, which may cause death.
So how do you enforce a law when the enforcers are not there?
We try.
Okay.
Masai. Na Masai mzuri. Na mapata bwana mzuri. Sasa nyinyi makosa yenu ni nini siku hizi? Likaeni. Hakuna. Naamini kitu mbaya.
In the year 2011, Kenya passed a law that basically said that female genital mutilation was illegal. Despite this, it's still being practiced across the country and even here where we are in Narok County. And we want to investigate why. And I'd like to begin with Selina, who's actually a member of this community and an activist. This is still happening. And I know that the school you're running is also facing this challenge. Can you talk to me about that?
We are from Mosiro originally, so even if a girl decides that she doesn't want to go through the cut, somehow they're trapped there and they can't find themselves out, even if they want to get out of the situation.
Mama Leposo, hapo awali tulikuwa tunaongea kuhusu wasichana kukatwa na tumesikia kuna wale ambao wanataka na wale ambao hawataki, lakini wewe kama mama wa hapa hii community, unaona kama hiyo kukeketwa ni vizuri ama ni vibaya?
Ni mzuri.
Kwa nini ni mzuri?
Ama kaya Narok Masai.
Sema kwa Kimasai.
Wale risori yanga pa. Ne sidai ya murata ongera. Amore kimilang. Mingi demarungai. Amora pa yo kera kimilang na wale engera ina memurata na mere engeno. Kare ba lokonya na ketoroje. Meyeuni si anda. Nekele netii nkera oltung'ani lememurata ata tenira sapuk tenira botor neishukunye ake aaku kiti neeku ore nanu kaiunga duo teneme naa serkali naar amu ore apa ntoiwuo ainei koko ai omama ai naa kemuratisho ata nanu kamuratisho najo alo aing'or nabo olong nepuoi aadung' enkitok enkaina natumuratishe naureyu ina peemamuratisho naa saai kaa kanyor.
I'll come back to you and now make it a little bit more personal. I know for a fact that you had said to your mother that you didn't want to undergo this right, and she forced you to. Can you talk to us about that?
I think for me, my mom, of course, she wanted me to grow up like a normal Masai girl child. Because my grandma was a cutter, I used to go to watch many girls being circumcised. So it was such a traumatic experience for me. And I kept telling my mom that it's something I never want to go through. So she didn't think that my decision or my choice counted. So she went ahead and decided for me. They even planned a surprise ceremony. And upon coming home from visiting my uncle, everything was set. And I found a group of women and they just locked me in and forced me into it. It's something that has been kind of disturbing me for a long time, and sometimes she would talk to it to her fellow friends about it as a superhero story. Yeah. Like I trapped her, she didn't know, she didn't like it. So I decided, okay, well, I think it's time to part ways with my mom. After 10 years of thinking about it, I approached her and told her. Then I was like, okay, you have the society, you made them happy, I'm gone.
This dramatization mirrors the reality and the trauma of an age-old ritual. More than 200 million women worldwide have been subjected to female genital mutilation. It's a tradition that reinforces men's power in society. Girls are still being cut during initiation rituals in the forest without anesthetic. Naturally, the girls put up a fight, so several women restrain them and push them to the ground. It's not uncommon for the girls to end up with broken bones.
And I'd like to introduce Diram because you are from Marsabit, which is a border town. Sometimes the girls choose to undergo this ritual. How does that work?
I'm going to tell you my story.
Yes.
For me, I wasn't forced, but I got into it due to peer pressure.
How old were you?
I was 9 years old. And I asked my grandma that I should go through it. I actually told her that I begged her to go through it. Yes.
But what is the purpose of female genital mutilation in your community? We've just heard from Mama Leposo here that a woman is considered not whole unless she's mutilated, essentially. What's the reason they give you?
Our community practices FGM to reduce sexual desires in a woman. So if a girl hasn't gone through FGM in my community, she is regarded as a prostitute or as a person who is loose. Yeah? Yes, that's the main reason we practice FGM.
Okay. I want to go to Sadia because you're also a survivor of FGM. Is this something that you also asked for in your community? Is there a lot of pressure?
In the village, we know each other. So we know who has gone through FGM. So for me, it was because of peer pressure. I went through FGM when I was 10 years old. But because you are a very innocent child and people want you to be clean, you go for it. But afterwards, you start regretting and nobody is there to answer your questions. Yeah.
Okay. So Mama Leposo, we've just heard from your daughter that you forced her to get FGM. Why did you do that?
Kimilang na nemeador bayano yo memrata nemegure na ara ki yo wa msheria nemeho yo mana de mrapi.
So you mean to tell me that if there was no law against FGM, you would still practice it?
Amo kama serikali hakuna inaendelea. Amo hakuna mzee Masai kijana nataka msijana. Sisi naita msijana. Pa naita mama hata kama ngesa 10 na hajatairi. Nasema tu mtoto ama msichana. Na hiyo akili ya mtoto.
So let me ask the men in this community. We have some very good looking Morans here. Daudi, kama mwanamume wa Kimasai, unaweza ukaoa mwanamke ambaye hajakatwa? Mbona?
Sitaki kwa sababu ni msichana hajatairi. Kwetu kwa Kimasai ndio tunaita hivyo.
You're the closest government official to the people of this village, and you have a lot to enforce. But the people who are around you are also your family members. They might be the ones practicing it. How do you enforce it in your own community? First of all, are you against it?
Yeah, I'm very much against it.
So what is the challenge with enforcing? Because we're hearing Mama Leposo here saying, if it was not for the risk of being arrested, I would still do it.
The challenge we have, they have noticed now it's an illegal practice. So what they do it in secrecy, which is a very serious way of doing, because something done in secrecy, it's always dangerous. So we urge them. It is dangerous. It's dangerous to their life, and it is against the law.
Okay, so we'll come back to the enforcement a little bit later. So just hold on to that thought. I'd like to now speak to the Mzee here, because we're hearing that the mindset hasn't changed. The law is in place, but the mindset hasn't changed. What do you think it would take to change Mama Leposo's opinion?
Why this thing has been practiced is because people have not been sensitized well, and therefore, for us, we have been sensitizing these people on harm caused by female genital mutilation, e.g., severe bleeding is there, which may cause death, injury of the organs may also cause, and many more. Therefore, the only thing to stop this is to create more awareness among the communities. It is a deadly exercise of which I'm opposed to. Yeah.
Sadia, we're talking about a harmful practice here. What are the long-term effects of FGM? What have you had to contend with psychologically?
Okay, allow me to say that FGM is not something that ends with the day you are cut. It's something that follows you for a lifetime. 2 hours after the cut, you start shivering, you start feeling fever, your body temperatures rise, so you can contract infections. Those are the short terms. Now, when we come to the long term, after you are now mature, even the menses coming out is a challenge. Another thing is that once you are married again, you go through a process called de-infibulation. It's another reopening. Then when you want to give birth, and in our community we give birth as long as we can. So that means after every birth you have to be cut for you to pass the child. Yes.
You have 3 children. Did you have any complications related to FGM when you had to deliver?
Yes, when I was giving birth to my first daughter, I was on labor pains for 3 days. And what happened is that the traditional birth attendants, because I gave birth at home, were cutting me anyhowly so that only the child to come out. But now again, I thought it was over. For the second baby, I was cut again. For the third, in fact, I ran to hospital and I said, I don't want to be cut anymore. I want to go to a safe place where I can deliver well. So I saw some scissors coming and I was like, what are these for? The razor was even better. Fortunately, the scissors were also better because I had to go through a cesarean delivery. That's when I said it's over. Now the 3 daughters are enough for me. I should talk to my community and tell them this should come to an end. And for me, I am fortunate. Those complications I'm talking are minor compared to others who have now endured living with the fistula, others now living with the childless.
Diram, is this sounding familiar? Is this sounding like something you're also battling with psychologically? And are you worried that physically your body might not be able to take a pregnancy?
Yes, I am worried every single day because, first of all, the day you go through it, you will never forget. As survivors, we never forget the day that you go through FGM.
All right, we're also hearing from all these women who've undergone FGM that it does cause complications, that it's harmful. So do you want another one of your daughters to go through that?
Matairi. Na masaa mzuri. Na mapata bwana mzuri. Sasa nyinyi makosa yenu ni nini siku hizi? Likaenu. Hakuna. Naamini kitu mbaya.
Daudi, I want to ask you another question because you said that it is cultural, you would not marry a woman unless she was cut. Tunasema kutairi wanawake ni mila ya Kimasai. Lakini kuna mila zingine ambazo Wamasai wamewacha nyuma kama kuua simba. Bado mnaua simba kama Wamorani nyinyi? Kwa hiyo mbona mnataka wanawake waendelee kukatwa na Wamorani? Kuna vitu zingine wameacha nyuma.
Hata hiyo mnaita aje? Kukeketa. Hata hiyo bado tunaacha.
Unataka muache ama muendelee?
Tunaacha.
Tuache.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not so clear where he is on that. But we were talking about stigma earlier of not going through the cut, but there's also a second layer of stigma once you're a survivor. How does that work?
Well, as a survivor, there are so many names that you are called. First of all, there's this notion that as a survivor, because community say your sexual desires, you do not have sexual desires. So there are people who say that survivors do not have that sexual urge, which is not true. It is not true. We do have, and that's why these are the reasons why survivors are not able to speak up, because they are called names. If I am told that as a survivor you cannot do this and this, therefore I'll have that fear of speaking up. Yeah.
Kaz is a sex educator, and you might have seen her on the 77% with the spread. Do we know enough about FGM as the people who are living in the cosmopolitan areas? And if there's a disconnect, why?
I think the way we're raised, we're very disconnected from a lot of things that happen culturally in different parts of the country, in different parts of the continent. Then the one thing that I'm hearing that is a common thread amongst all of these conversations is that the value of the woman is there is no value to a woman. From the minute that a girl is born into a family, she is automatically she's seen as a form of currency, and it's a material exchange, because if she doesn't cut, then it means that she can't be married. That means the family can't make any money. That also means that the family will be seen as outcasts within their community. So a lot of these conversations just sound like very patriarchal conversations where the woman is not valued. She's a thing. So even with conversations around her health, and there's certain things that she's not able to do. She's not able to bear children, fistula. There's so many, very many health issues around FGM. A lot of people don't care. The value of the woman is so low that even when you tell them that women are dying, they don't care.
Yeah. But do we care enough as the people who are privileged to a large degree. Do we care enough to create safe spaces so that when the survivors, survive, that we're listening to them?
Yes, but I feel like a safe space is never enough. Like, what's the next move from there? We need to be able to actually physically do something. We need to be able to help certain communities. I'm aware that in Loita, there is the ritual of the female genital cutting, also known as mutilation, has been changed. The ritual is changed so that the little girl wears the blue shuka. She has the women dancing with her. She's taken to the hut. She's laid on the mat. But instead of cutting her, they pour milk over her vulva.
Eliminate the harmful part of it. Okay, NGOs were mentioned. Catherine, I have to come to you because you've been accused of, and I've heard it said and read a couple of times that NGOs are hijacking this conversation, but you're not really listening to the people.
It's a two-sided way. Because those who are working at the ground, really, they listen to the people. They do sensitize the people. They do help the people. But we have those who are just seated at Nairobi, who are doing nothing. They don't come to the ground. So it's a two-sided way.
Okay. I want to go to Sadia for just a little bit. You come from a community where 9 out of 10 women have been cut. What would happen if, say, somebody got cut today and they went to the police station? How is the law meant to work?
The law is supposed to be there to help the girls, the victims, the survivors. But unfortunately, most of the time, there are a lot of gaps in the law itself. Because once a case is reported, that means even the victims will be carried along as witnesses. And in most police stations, we don't have child protection centers, child protection units. We don't have rescue centers in all the counties. So that means these girls who are already victims, have already suffered, will again suffer another violence of maintaining them as witnesses. So another issue with the law is that once the girl is cut, she will automatically drop out of school and all that. A lot of challenges. How is the education sector now helping in the law enforcement? Are they reporting these girls who are dropping out of school? What about the administrative arm, the chiefs? For instance, we have a
let's ask him actually, because you've brought him up. Chief, here you are. Somebody comes to the police station and says, "I've just been forced to go through FGM," and we've read some instances where the police officers ask them for photos of the thing happening. This is not realistic.
What makes these girls not to report? At times they go there, they are being nasema wanadhulumiwa zaidi tena.
They're stigmatized.
That is how it should be. Because most of the stations don't have child protection center. Most of the stations are far. That child maybe doesn't have fare to go to report to the police station. So.
But isn't that why we have so many layers of administration? So that if you as a chief is not able to come to this community, shouldn't you be able to send people to survey?
I send people to survey to the...
Yeah, to check.
No,
I mean, if we're saying that the people being circumcised or, going through FGM are 9 or 10, how will they know to come to report to you?
What we do, and that had helped us a lot, we collaborate with the churches, the village elders, and the community at large.
Okay, but to be fair, Chief, we already know that that's not working. It's not really working entirely. So let's talk about arrests. Have there been any people arrested in Narok?
Yeah, there's so many, even the chiefs.
Even the chiefs? Yeah. Okay.
We have a chief who has been arrested for circumcising his daughters, and they have been taken to court. It is an example to other communities. When they see the chief has been arrested, it is obviously they don't do it because they know the law really works.
Okay, Sadia is not agreeing with you, but I want to come to Selina first because is this ringing true to you? Do you feel like you can trust the police officers to enforce the law?
First of all, we don't have any police station in my village. Yeah. So I don't even know how it works with dealing with the police. Yeah.
Chief, we're being told you don't even have a police station here. So where would you even begin?
In fact, we have.
She's saying in Mosiro.
Oh, in Mosiro, in fact, that is no.
So how do you enforce a law when the enforcers are not there?
We do. We try.
Okay. So speaking of stakeholders, Kaz, What more can we do as women to work with the women who are still going through this? How can we be more active stakeholders?
I feel like we really need to be able to understand the ways in which different communities are able to absorb information and then use that and take that and find ways to educate women. If it means showing them some of the effects of FGM with young girls and the continued effect, like Sadia said, throughout the lives of women. And if they are so fixated around the idea of young girls getting married, I feel like it would be if we could use that as a form of education to show them how it affects the marriages in a negative way, how it affects childbearing in a negative way, because children are such an asset. And also just create spaces to actually discuss the vagina, the vulva, to actually look at it, to talk about women and their experiences, be it sexual, be it physical, to discuss the actual organ itself.
What can we do better to stop FGM?
A lot of the things that I'm hearing is serikali tusaidie. And, you know, the police post is so far away and so on and so forth. And there's so many problems around it. But I'm really curious, with what we have and with what is available, what can we do to make actual changes? And my more precise question is, how do we begin to change the mindset of mama who is old and very set in her ways? How do we begin to educate or to have conversations with her in a way that she can have an aha moment where she's like, actually, we need to stop that?
Okay, let's ask Mzee Koisaba here. You know, I've just asked the question, what can we do better? Because what we're doing so far doesn't seem to be working.
This thing is hard because of the culture. And the Masai got a very deep and rich culture, and they believe in their culture. Therefore, the only best way, as I have seen, to stop FGM is to have a collection force in between the government, the chiefs, the DCs, the governors. The church also should come out and say no to FGM. And, of course, education department must also come in to sensitize and make it stop. I think if this collection or this collective force is done, then automatically or eventually this thing is going to stop.
Okay, Mzee Koisaba has articulated the knock-on effects of FGM very clearly. Education is something that you're very keen on. Is this the way forward to stop FGM, do you think?
I think girls' education is one of the big solutions to ending FGM and child marriage and teenage pregnancies, because as Mzee said, FGM does not stand as an issue alone, and these organizations that are fighting to end FGM cannot end FGM as one entity alone. They have to address girls' education, because once girls are in school, they're able to learn about their bodies. We have a center in Mosiro, and it's more of a rescue center now and a boarding school, because girls are fleeing into that institution, escaping child marriage and FGM. So creating such safe spaces and girls' education will be a huge thing that can solve this issue of FGM.
Okay. All right, Sadia, what is your proposal moving forward? How do we finally get rid of this?
Okay, for me, I would suggest, like, we need to have county and community-based approaches, like specific county and community-based approaches, because what works for my community does not work for the Masai community. For my community, maybe engaging the religious leaders will work. For the Masai, maybe alternative rite of passage might work. We need to have grassroots-based campaigns. We need to leave the conference rooms and go to the community where we have survivors affected. And another third thing I will suggest is that the content, the message we tell the community really matters a lot, because these people have values attached to FGM. So how do we delink it? How do we delink FGM from religion? How do we delink FGM from culture? The government also has a big role to play. Now that in Kenya, our president committed to end FGM by 2022, what are the political leadership doing about it? These are people who also need to speak up.
Our female politicians.
Our female politicians to begin with.
You're talking about changes right from the top all the way to the bottom. So finally, what do you think can be done and what can we do?
a huge platform for survivors. Survivors do not have a chance to even speak out. They are stigmatized a lot. And I would love to see a world where survivors are considered, they are listened to. Also, I love in the village setup, there are forums that are called mother-to-daughter forums. In most of our communities, discussing these issues are a taboo. You cannot just speak about FGM just like that. So having such forums, giving women space to speak, would be something that will really help.
Okay, I know that there are a couple of people who want to say a few more things, but unfortunately, this is where we have to call it a wrap. There have been fantastic solutions which have been suggested. I really hope the people who can implement them are listening. I'm speaking to you, Chief. Thank you for watching.